Let me tell you something right out of the gate. If you ever inherit an old lake house in the middle of nowhere, and the first person to show up at your door is an HOA president wearing sunglasses and a windbreaker, run. Or, pull up a chair because the show's about to start. I learned that the hard way. Some people get beachfront sunsets and a fresh start. Me? I got a haunted house, a folder full of HOA violations, and a front row seat to one of the dumbest criminal conspiracies I've ever seen. And I used to do Navy intel in Basra, so my bar for dumb is not low. Let's back up. My name's Noah Pierce, 37, private intelligence contractor. Think Navy guy with trust issues and a lot of surveillance toys. My dad passed away and left me his old lake house in Cedar County. Place looked like a rejected set from a horror movie. Roof sagging, porch sinking, fog so thick the neighbors thought ghosts paid rent. County records said nobody'd lived there in years. The local HOA? They acted like it didn't even exist, which honestly was fine by me. On paper, I was just a sad son with a toolbox and a rented dumpster, fixing up Dad's old place. In reality, that crumbling house became my personal war room. Motion mics, night vision cams, radios tuned to the kind of frequencies only cops and criminals use. Because that peaceful community doc the HOA bragged about, it was a hotbed for midnight boat drops and a smuggling ring that hid behind white picket fences. You'd be amazed at how much crime gets planned in between bake sales and kayak meetups. My job, one job, was to watch, log, and connect the dots of the county's task force. It was almost boring until it wasn't. The first week, I catch this boat. No lights, slides in at 2:15 a.m. like a ghost. Two figures. One tosses a duffel to a white van with Clearwave Marine contracting slapped on the side. The van peels off before the duffel even hits the floor. Classic dead drop. I record it all, because that's my thing. Observe, don't interfere, unless I want to get myself, or worse, my case, shot to hell. Then, right when I'm thinking, yeah, this is just another Thursday in Lake County, she arrives. Beige windbreaker, sunglasses so big she could be in witness protection, clipboard tight to her chest. Karen Sloan, president of the Cedar Point Shores Homeowners Association. She called through the gate like she was summoning the dead. Hello, hello. I wipe my hands, step out, play the clueless son. She looks at me like I tracked dog crap on her rug. She launches right in. We weren't informed anyone would be moving into the McKinley property. I tell her, yeah, it's my dad's place, just cleaning up. She doesn't flinch. HOA guidelines require all residents to register. We'll also need a copy of your keys. Sorry, ma, what now? She says it's for emergency inspections, pest control, safety. I almost laugh coffee out my nose. Lady, my property isn't in your HOA. County records confirm it. The dock is ours, she says, like she's staking a claim on the moon. We have to ensure visual standards. I stand my ground, politely but firm. She doesn't blink, just takes mental notes for her spreadsheet of future violations, then storms off like she's just performed an exorcism. But something about her tone, it wasn't just nosy neighbor energy. It was strategic, like she was probing for weak spots. I flagged it. Possible HOA interference. I didn't realize yet that Karen wasn't just nosy. She was the gatekeeper for something much nastier. Next day, a manila envelope slides under my door. Official HOA violation notice. Violations include generator use after dusk, visible plywood, lack of approved renovation plans. Cute, right? Especially since their authority stops 20 feet from my porch. But I'm not stupid. Paper trails matter, so I scan everything, upload to the task force, and fire back a cease and desist through my lawyer, Cheryl. Cheryl's a bulldog in a cardigan. She included state code, zoning maps, not subject to HOA highlighted 3 times. I figure that's the end, but if it was, I wouldn't be telling you this story. The next morning, power's out. Not a storm, not a blown fuse, just dead. My backup server beeps. Generator still running. When I check the meter, someone's clearly tampered with it. Scratches on the box, piece of plastic wedged in the hinge. Good thing I'm paranoid. I'd set up a current logger on the line. It logged every touch, every open, every cutoff. Timestamp, 3:27 a.m. The same hour that utility truck showed up on my camera right on the edge of the property line. Not a coincidence. I don't say a word. I just document. Later, I spot Karen talking to a guy in a safety vest over by the HOA clubhouse. Clipboards change hands. I pull the footage, send it to the task force. My memo? Suspected coordinated tampering. Recommend background check on HOA contractors. That night, I route power through my own underground line. Camouflage private, no way they can touch it. Just to make a point, I hang a giant sign on my fence. Private property, not subject to HOA. Trespassers will be recorded. They respond by tossing a bag of mulch over my driveway. Passive aggression in biodegradable form. I snap a picture, archive it, and wait. Because when people know they're being watched, they start to panic. The next day, the HOA comes in force. Karen and two guys in matching polos. Association stitched over their hearts like a gang tattoo. Karen holds up an official-looking document. We're conducting an emergency inspection per County Lake Authority. I take the paper, scan the QR code, dead link, bogus government site, fake stamp. I call her bluff. This isn't valid. You're trespassing. Karen goes pale. Her muscle looks like he just realized he should have called in sick. I'll let them stew, call the sheriff. Deputy Rhodes, a linebacker in uniform, checks the paperwork and laughs. This looks like it came from some online template site. He files a report and tells Karen, one more move, and she's facing criminal charges. You think she'd back off? You don't know Karen. Night falls. My marine scanner pings. Another boat, another drop. But this time, it's not just the usual bag-to-van routine. The recipient is a tall guy in contractor overalls, heads for a shed behind the clubhouse, not a car in sight. Reflection catches his face, surgical scar, strong jaw. I run it through task force records. Owen Vale, known courier. Never been nailed. Now he's moonlighting as an HOA maintenance guy. I'll log everything, back it up, stash a drive under my shed floor. Paranoia is underrated. The next morning, the HOA tries another angle, cartographic discrepancy. Suddenly my house is maybe inside their boundary due to some recent replatting. Cheryl, my lawyer, answers in 5 minutes. Legally meaningless. Stay frosty. By now, it's clear. This isn't just Karen's vendetta. It's a cover-up, and they're getting sloppy. Late that night, another drop. Same boat, same moves, but this time the duffel doesn't go into the clubhouse. It goes into an unmarked white van behind the HOA fence. Magnetic Lake View irrigation sign stuck on the side. I call the ATF. Within 15 minutes, I'm sneaking along the lakeshore, flashlight in hand, following boot prints and tire marks. In a trash bin by the shed, under a pile of lawn chairs and charcoal, I find a box, Polar Tech Hunting Optics. Barcode flagged. Turns out, it was supposed to be destroyed in Idaho. Now it's in a HOA trash can in Cedar County. This is no longer property dispute territory. This is federal crime, in broad daylight, hidden behind bake sales and boat parades. I dig deeper. HOA finances show a dock repair grant, $180,000 to Blue Heron Realty, LLC. The owner? Malcolm Sloan, Karen's cousin. Bankruptcy twice, suddenly flush with cash. I sent it up the chain. The ATF wants more eyes on the lake. Now, from the eye of the storm. The calm, quiet guy fixing up his dad's house has become the stick of dynamite under Karen's kingdom. Then, everything hits the fan literally. Friday, overcast, quiet as a tomb. I'm going through invoices when the gate slams open. Karen and her safety team, armed with a crowbar and bolt cutters, kick in my front door. Emergency inspection, she shouts. Credible reports of chemical hazards. I stand there dead calm. You're trespassing. You have no authority here. She ignores me, bulldozes toward the back office, her henchmen in tow, until they open the door. That's when all flips. My war room. Walls lined with monitors, surveillance maps, photos, red string, license plates, everything. Dead center on the big screen, Owen Vale caught red-handed. Karen freezes. Her muscle blanches. I walk past, hit the hidden switch, doors lock, windows seal, the house goes quiet. What is this? She stammers. This, I say, is where I document federal crimes, including, as of 30 seconds ago, felony forced entry. She panics, Tries to grab my laptop. I block her. That's tampering with federal evidence. The scanner buzzes. Another boat's coming in. I hit the hot key, call the ATF, Cedar Point Package 3, active. Within 90 seconds, law enforcement is swarming the dock. Vale tries to bolt, but the feds close in. It's over. All caught on camera every second. I turn the screen so Karen can see. She just stares, pale and silent. The lesson, if you're paying attention, is this: power, real power, doesn't come from clipboards or rules or laminated badges. It comes from knowing when to document, when to wait, and when to strike. People like Karen, they bet everything on fear, hoping you'll fold before the paperwork gets ugly. But the moment you shine a light on their secrets, suddenly their power vanishes. ATF arrives. They take Karen and her muscle away. Right as she's muttering, "It was just about the dock. Malcolm said it was clean." Later that night, I see her sneaking around the clubhouse, trying to bury a folder behind the shed. I intercept her. The folder? Payment logs, contractor emails, secret spreadsheets, her get-out-of-jail-free file, only she tried to bury it instead of use it. I call the feds. That's strike 3. The next week, the entire web unravels. Shell companies, fake permits, laundered grants, and a template for forged inspection forms, all traced back to Karen and her cousin. Turns out, she'd been making the fake government notices herself, right on her laptop, with a PDF editor and the audacity of someone who'd never been told no. Court was quick. No drama. Just gray carpet and a judge who'd seen one HOA power trip too many. Karen got 12 years, no parole, and a lifetime ban from touching any HOA books again. Owen Vale got 17. Turns out, smuggling firearms across state lines is frowned upon. Malcolm Sloan, arrested at a fishing cabin, pled out for 8 years in restitution. The HOA? Dissolved, accounts frozen, damages paid out. Their office turned into a county-run info booth. The dock was torn down. No HOA authority on a brand new sign. Poetic justice, if you ask me. Me? I kept the lake house. Fixed it up. Donated half the settlement to the local search and rescue team. They run drones out of my shed now, save lost kids and paddleboarders. I finally slept without the generator hum or the fear that Karen was plotting another emergency inspection. And if you're wondering, no, she never reached out. Maybe her lawyers told her not to. Maybe she realized, finally, that some boundaries are real. But if she ever had, I'd have said this. You thought the law was a tool to bully people. You thought a badge, even a fake one, meant you could do whatever you want. But the truth? The law is slow, but it's patient. And there's always someone watching. So, that's my take on what goes on behind the picket fences. What do you think? Does power corrupt? Or does it just reveal who people really are? Where's the line between community rules and outright abuse? Maybe you've had your own run-in with HOA hell, or a neighbor who thinks they're king. Drop a comment, share your story. I'll be here, just a quiet guy by the lake, keeping an eye out.